Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I will be reviewing my new Ender 3. Okay guys, so before I start this video, I just want to thank the people that gave me this printer. Now, I won this in a raffle at ERRF 2019 in Bel Air, Maryland. I would recommend you guys go to ERRF 2020 if you guys haven't or aren't planning on to. So I won this from a raffle from Fun in the Kuntry Basement. That's Fun King 3D, Kuntry 3D, and Chris's Basement. They put on a live stream, all of them as one group. And I just want to thank them again for giving me this printer and putting on that amazing raffle. So now the first thing that I noticed about this printer is that it's a Bowden system. So as you can see, you got the Bowden tube running from the hot end all the way up to the extruder at the back, and then it attaches to the carriage. So now I have seen Bowden systems before, and I generally understand how they work. Now, I've only seen them in videos, and I haven't actually gotten my hands on an actual Bowden system, so it's always good to get some hands-on experience. You know, Bowden systems have their pros and their cons. So one of the good parts about a Bowden, and why I think it's a good choice for an Ender 3, is that the head can be a lot lighter, because obviously the extruder is in the back. Now, the one main downside for Bowden systems is that you just can't print flexible materials on it. When flexibles are in the Bowden tube, they'll compress on themselves. You don't want that in a Bowden system, because then the filament will compress all throughout the tube. When you print PLA and ABS and other filaments like that, they push on themselves, like as you can see in this Benchy. So I don't think I'll be able to print flexibles on this, but I don't tend to print that many flexible filaments, so it's not going to be a problem. So now another weird thing is that the print surface is actually held on by clips, which is a little interesting. So now let's talk about the most important part of a printer. It's how it prints. Now this is the first print I did, and it was just loaded onto the SD card, and for essentially zero calibration at all, it turned out extremely good. Granted, that came with around a 3-hour, 15-minute price tag, but it's incredibly smooth, and there are very little errors on the print. Because it took so long to print, I do suspect that it was on the highest setting. So now, to address the elephant in the room, why is it two colors? So as you can see, that it started at white, and then I had to change it to Protopasta Orange, not sure the specific color, because I also won that in the raffle, but still, nice filaments. The reason I had to change the filament is the printer only came with enough to barely do any sizable chunk of the print. I personally just find this a little bit perplexing on how it'll come with some filament but not enough to do the sample print on the SD card. I find that it's like one of the big points of having a sample print is how you can immediately test if the printer is working, responding, and maybe if there's like jamming in it or any big serious problems. So it might look like I had some filament left over, but that was because the Bowden tube, so it can't use the whole piece of filament. You know, I still just find it a little weird that it just didn't come with enough filament. Like, my only other printer experience would be with Lulzbot printers, and they come with plenty of filament to do the sample print, and maybe even another print if it's small enough. So now, as you can see, I printed a Benchy. I really couldn't stop myself, but you kind of see on the bottom, I didn't have the bed properly leveled. It's a little interesting getting used to this new bed configuration, because I'm used to Lulzbot. Minus the bed leveling snafu, the print came out pretty well, just using the default settings in Simplify 3D. Took about an hour and 20-30 minutes. So the print turned out pretty good. There are a couple of imperfections here and there, including the bed, but with just some very simple bed leveling, and that's the only calibration, it turned out pretty good, in my opinion. So now the one interesting thing about this print is there seems to be some ghosting, as you can kind of see. Now this is weird because ghosting tends to follow the contour of the lines. Like you have a circle, it'll follow a circle. But this is kind of perpendicular, or it's an inverse of what it should be, and I don't know why, but someone probably does. So I'm going to do some more research on that and see if I can fix it. Maybe someone in the comments can let me know. So now the next print I did is this little like Liberty Mutual badge, I guess. So this wasn't sponsored by Liberty Mutual, sadly. I did this on a contract print. Someone needed it for their Halloween costume, and I had a printer, so I printed it for them. So now I turned this into a dual color print using Protopasta Gold, Flake PLA, and some random blue. So I just used the default settings in Simplify 3D, and that turned out perfectly fine for what I needed. I did this as a dual color print by using 2 different G-code files to then switch it out. I'm used to doing like a pause in the middle and then changing the print, or putting a G-code pause in there. So pausing it that way was a little bit interesting. Now you notice at the bottom of the print it's not smooth, and that's basically a given whenever you're using like a build tack like sheet like I have on my Ender. Now personally I'm used to my Lulzbot, which has a PEI and glass bed, which leaves the bottom of the prints pretty super smooth. Now it's just taking some time getting used to. It's like the same thing with any new change. It's going to take some time. So now my current only like big problem with the printer that I've had was just assembling it, because I may or may not have done some of the steps in the wrong order. It's working, so I didn't do it totally completely wrong, and I didn't totally mess it up, but I definitely did assemble it in the wrong order. Now another little problem with it is getting your prints onto the actual printer. They gave you a micro SD card that you had to use to transfer the files to the printer. Now I can deal with that, but it tends to be that most printers will use a full normal size SD card. See how it's a lot larger just looking at the two, or they'll use a USB stick. I prefer SD card, but some use a USB stick. But for some reason Creality has decided to use a micro SD card, but it did come with a micro SD to USB adapter, so you can just plug it right into your computer. Don't have to worry about getting any like ports on it, which I find is nice. I just find it annoying how small it is, and sometimes how hard it is to just get in the printer. So now if I wanted to plug it in, I'd have to go to the bottom of the printer, which is a little bit of a pain sometimes. Now I don't think you guys can see that well because it's in the shadow from the build plate, but so now I just gotta remove some stuff from the bed, and I'm gonna push it forward, so hopefully you guys can see it a lot better. I would categorize this more in the pet peeve category, but you can see that tiny hole in the box right by the bed axis. So if it was in a different spot, I'd definitely be able to manage this, like if it was more towards the open end. But because it's right by that aluminum extrusion, plugging it in and getting it out are such a big pain. Now I have heard, haven't actually seen it, it's hearsay, ways that you can make it easier to plug it in, whether it's like relocating the box or getting some sort of adapter, but I'm not sure about it. I'm just going to have to deal with this micro SD card for now. It's just a pretty big pain. So now I haven't done any like torture tests for the printer yet that test like overhangs and bridging, but the closest I've gotten is obviously the Benchy that has a lot of the stuff built in, because you know it has like overhangs on it, you know, and there's some bridging and some flat parts on it. There are also some slopes. Now so far it's worked for me. I've been able to get 2-color prints off of it. Now it was pretty easy to assemble, minus the fact that I did it in the wrong order. I found the little T-nuts that you use to install stuff were a little annoying. Lulzbot also uses them. I think any printer with aluminum extrusions does. But overall, it works pretty well, and I'm happy with it. Another problem I have with it is loading filament into the Bowden tube. From what I know, this is something that happens on most extruders that use this design. I tend to have a little bit of annoyance when I'm trying to load filament. It's loaded so I can't really show you, but what'll happen is when I push on the lever, the filament will kind of move backwards and it makes it hard to get it in the hole. Overall, it's just a little bit annoying, although overall I think I'll find strategies to make it easier. I'm sure other people have had this problem, so I'll just do some more searching on the internet. Someone's probably already found a solution. So now, onto the filament spool holder. It does what it's supposed to do. It holds the filament. Personally, I like it. I think the design's aesthetically pleasing, and it holds the filament on pretty well. It was a little bit of a pain to install it because of those aforementioned T-nuts, but it works, and then I really like the way that the filament comes out of it right into the extruder. Just quick overall for the filament holder, it works. It was a well thought out design, and I like it. I don't have any complaints about it at all. So just overall, the printer, it works. I'm happy with it. It prints, and especially for the price, well, because I got it free, obviously, it works really well. I've looked on Amazon, and the price is very affordable, especially for beginners, and it prints really well. I see why a lot of people have it now. It's an FDM printer, so there are inherently limitations to the technology. But from what I've seen, which isn't that much, I've had it for maybe a week or two, depends on the uploading of this video, it works, and I would recommend that beginners should definitely get it, because it's really good beginner printer, I say. Now, I like it. It works. It's great for beginners or even pros. Another thing is I really like the experience of building this printer. My little spot came mostly assembled. I think I had to apply like 3 screws, but I just like getting to know your printer by assembling it. I think it's great when you're like fixing a printer to know how it works, and it's a happy medium between a full kit and a fully assembled printer. Because like once you know like the printer more and like where everything goes, assembling it becomes much easier. Now overall, I finished this in like 4 hours, and I didn't get prints done after that. So after I got back from ERRF on the second day, I went home and I started assembling it like almost immediately. Now the printer was pretty easy to assemble. I think I sound like a broken record. But the manual, I was not a big fan because it was very Lego-esque. Like, there weren't too many words or descriptors in it. The pictures were pretty great, and they looked like the printer. But I did have some problems trying to, like, parse out which specific parts I needed. It would definitely be great accompanied by, like, better text about it. Now, if there was any question that the manual just couldn't answer, there are very detailed build guides on the internet that you can just search for. Now, as this is my first printer review, I don't really have a scale to rate anything on, but overall, I like it. Now, overall, I would recommend this printer to basically anyone, whether you're a beginner or basically a pro, because it's pretty easy to assemble, and it's pretty rough and tugged, and it's not made out of like an acrylic frame. So now, I haven't had this printer for too long. I'm kind of just waiting to see what happens if one of the belts happens to snap. But for like the 2 or so weeks I've had it, I haven't had any major problems or of it like destroying itself. So that's good. So now I will do my best to try to leave a link in the description down below if you really like this printer. It might be an affiliate link, it might not be. The whole thing with an affiliate link is part of the purchase will go to me, and it'll help me make better videos by like buying more filament, buying a better camera, better mics, so I can like upgrade the quality for you guys. Like any purchases from the next 24 hours, part of it will go to me. It might be an affiliate link, it might not be. You just have to wait and see. Okay guys, so thank you for watching that video. Just another thanks to Fun in the Kuntry Basement. I'll try my best to remember to put a link in the description. If you like this video, please like it. If you want more videos like this, please subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer. If you have any constructive criticism, just leave them in the comments for me. I'm happy to take everything into consideration. I apologize how this video might be a little weird. It's the new camera I got. The onboard mic had a really horrible quality.
Like it and hit that subscribe button.
That was just a little sample of what that sounded like. I do not want to put you guys through it, nor do I want to put myself through that. So I had to double the audio over, which is why like some of my hand motions might not fully link up. But just remember, guys, please like, subscribe. I noticed that 80% of the people that watch my videos aren't subscribed. Now, I don't like people begging for subscribers, but I will beg, just please, please subscribe. It really helps me make more videos and helps spread the word about my stuff. Now, after this, I will have the whole time lapse of myself assembling it. If you want to watch that, I don't want to just like put in the middle of it, you know. So you can watch that if you want. Just guys, thank you for watching. Remember, keep on printing.